Yo, what up, y'all? For those that are new to the channel, make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and also subscribe to my boys, Millaboy Gaming and Heemz Gaming for more gaming and live stream. They do some pretty dope stuff. You might just see your boy on there kicking some ass too. Alright, in this episode of Cloak and Dagger, Season 2, Episode 2, White Lines. And we get a lot of those white lines. Lines that you should just not cross. Well, in this episode, they decided to say to hell with them because my boy Tyrone finally, has finally received some guidance from Vita from Avita's aunt. And I gotta tell you, man, Avita's aunt is the MVP, man. She's the ultimate MVP. And I say that because if it wasn't for Avita's aunt, I don't know where my boy Tyrone would be in terms of guidance and spirituality because the boy, it was lost. Right? And so basically, Tyrone and Avita had their little bit of a verbal scuffle because Avita has waited 8 months. It's literally been 8 months since she's seen Tyrone. Now, mind you, in the last episode, in the premiere, he was pretty much just like looking out for her, observing her from afar. And she turned and he wasn't there. But when she finally saw Tyrone in her aunt's kitchen, making some biscuits, I believe, she just stormed out and she just aired out her grievances. Even though she, yes, as she said, and I quote, I was right about everything I said, but it wasn't right for her to, blow up on him when he was opening up to her. And they made up for it, kissing with each other. So, which now gives me the impression that they're finally back on and in a relationship. They're mending their relationship back together, which is dope. Also, in this episode, we see the turnabouts from last episode when Tandy blew up at Michaela, because her abusive husband Jeremy, was on her. Tandy was like, look, while they're at the support group, she was like, look, you need to stop looking for him to save you, or something of that interpretation. She says, look, you need to let him go, pack up everything you have, and go and do your own thing. Well, needless to say, Michaela did just that, and she couldn't find her the next day because apparently, according to the one man that was driving a private ambulance, happened to be connected to one of the guys that was actually killed at the sit down, who then Mayhem decided to go knock on, I guess, the widow's door. She scratched up a painting, and Mayhem was able to unravel, what was really going down. Brett, the guy that was killed, his big business was he salvaged privately owned ambulances. And once, after the addicts, you know, went by the wayside, he would salvage those ambulances and make money off them. Basically, salvage ambulances into a chop shop, right? And they would get paid big money for it. Now, mind you, this is after Mayhem. This is Mayhem taking over. Mayhem is extremely intelligent, and we actually come to find out at the very end of the episode that both Mayhem and Bridget are completely two different ass people. Very dualistic, and I will say this: talk about having a split personality, because Mayhem is in the flesh, and I gotta say that was awfully kind of creepy. But now we know that Bridget can be her own person. Detective Bridget O'Reilly can be her own. Meanwhile, Mayhem actually was taking over for Bridget because Bridget was tied up somewhere. Because mind you, in the very beginning of the episode, she was drunk and things of that nature, and Mayhem literally said while she had her face down in the puddle where some water was, she said, "Look, it's time for me to take over now," which I thought prompted, that she would come out, out of Bridget, and then just take over the host body. And I was completely wrong about that. She actually was able to tie up Bridget and go on about her business. But we ended up finding Michaela, at a hospital. She overdosed on heroin. She relapsed, and but she was unconscious, but she was stable. Now, mind you, before Tandy got to her, Tyrone actually, while he was just praying in the Voodoo, he actually teleported into the very private ambulance that we saw Michaela in. She was pleading for Tyrone to help her, and Tyrone was trying to teleport her out of that ambulance, but he was unable to. Sorry about that. I had to sneeze. And after that, like I said, Tyrone and Vita made up at the hospital. Vita said, "Look, I'll just try to help you out, try to figure out what else is going on." And here we are now. Because Tandy was still at the compound, I guess, where the chop shop was. And Tandy was like, "Wait a second, if you're with Bridget, Tyrone, then..." Because, Tyrone teleported to Bridget's place and found her, teleported into her apartment, found her tied up, hog-tied, and Tandy was like, "Wait a second, if that's you, then who's that?" At the dead body, because, made him slit the throat of the guy who kidnapped and killed him, who was driving the private ambulance. The guy said, "Look, I don't know where the rest of the girls are," because I think the big focal point of one of the focal points of the season is human trafficking and so on. You know how Cloak and Dagger does. I like the freedom that Freeform gives them as well to talk about such subjects like this. And so with that being said, I look forward to next week's episode, man. It's gonna be pretty damn lit because now I want to know more about Mayhem and how the hell she's able to function outside the host body. So that must be telling. That means to tell me that literally Mayhem is her own soul kind of conscious and has her own. She can move about as she pleases. So, but the only thing is she has to knock. Seems like she has to knock Bridget the fuck out before she can actually act on her own, completely. But this has been your boy Sherry Speaks. Let me know what you guys think about this episode in comment section below. This has been a pretty dope ass start of the season. Peace and love.